Hi, working with spreadsheet, navigation, tabs, ribbons in Microsoft Excel, Mac numbers, and Google Sheets. So the first thing we'll want to do is open Microsoft Excel, a blank workbook. And again, you can click the window down at the bottom left corner, which is the Start button, and you can scroll to look for Excel. Or you can type here to search and just begin typing Excel, and you can select the Excel app. And just to remind you, this is the backstage area. We're going to select blank workbook. You could go ahead and open and browse on your computer. It shows the most recent worksheets that you've been working on, and then you have your templates. So I'm going to go right ahead and choose blank workbook. And we're going over slightly a review of the window in Microsoft Excel. Again, to remind you that the green is for Microsoft Excel. So it indicates also that you're in an Excel application. And the name of the very first worksheet that you just opened is called Book 1. If I went and opened up another blank workbook, it would be Book 2, Book 3, etc. So this, again, you would probably want to give it a name that you would be able to locate later on, so a more defined description of this workbook. You have your autosave, and you have your save with Control S. Undo and redo, right now they're grayed out because there hasn't been anything done to redo or undo. And then you have your customized quick access toolbar. If we recall, on the first one, I already had the print preview button on and the spell check. And I'll show you that again, how to change it and put things on this access toolbar that you use frequently. Over to the far right is the owner of this application, and then you have your ribbon display options, minimize, restore and maximize, and close. Again, if you accidentally clicked this ribbon display option and then accidentally hit this one, auto hide ribbon, your ribbon is temporarily hidden. Again, if you click these three dots, it comes, but it's back just temporary. You'd have to go back to the ribbon display options and choose, if you accidentally just choose show tabs, you just have the tabs and not the ribbon. So again, go back to ribbon display options and select show tabs and commands, and then you have everything. The default is the home tab, and under each one, as you click different tabs, the ribbon refers to more of the information under each one. So for example, the home tab, which is the default tab, it's always will take you whatever workbook you open, you'll always be in the home default tab. These are the most common features that you would use, and they're broken up into groups. So this one's called the clipboard group, and it has your copy, paste, format painter, and delete. The next group is called your font group and has to do with the appearance of your font, size, and color. And then you have your alignment if you want it centered, left aligned, right aligned. And then you also have the number group, styles, cells, editing, data analysis, and sensitivity. If you'll notice, some of the groups will have in the right-hand corner an arrow pointing, a diagonal arrow, and that is a dialog box launcher. And when you click that, it gives you more options in a different perspective, rather than just seeing the font type, the size, bold, italic, underline. It's also right here, but it's more descriptive. And what happens is, if you, right now the font type is Calibri 11, if you were to choose a different font type, so if I just moved around and picked something else, and whatever I decide to choose, if I just type it in here, it'll be quicker. If I went into Times New Roman, and I selected that, it changes here. So now I'm in Times New Roman, and if I increase the size of it, it shows right here versus when you're changing it up here. So you get to see it, how it would be displayed. If you wanted it in bold, it shows you everything in here. So it's like a little preview of what you're selecting. And if you wanted to have it underlined, you'd get a display of that. I wanted to put a color on the underline. That was the font color. Go with automatic. But I'm going to click cancel because I don't want to select that. So it just gives you a display of if you wanted to see, well, what would the font look like in the size and bold and underline. So I'll cancel out of that, keep it in Calibri 11. Same thing for alignment. If I click the dialog box launcher for alignment, I have, and if you notice, this was the same dialog box, but when I was in font, it was under font. So let me just go there real quick. So I'll cancel out of here. If I went into the font group and clicked here, see how it's selected as font? When I'm going into this one, it'll be alignment. And when I go, so I could actually, let's say I clicked this one accidentally and I wanted to go in alignment, I could change it right here. So I didn't have to be in this one. But just to show you, these are the same dialog box launcher depending what you want. So to share with you, in the dialog box launcher, you have the number, alignment, font, border, fill, and protection options. Not all of them have that dialog box launcher, but it offers more features, more options. The clipboard, again, that shows over here like it does in Word, where if you copy and paste, it will show up over here up to 24 options. So you can see what you just recently copied or cut. Just to remind you that the columns are labeled by letters first and then by the row. So if I click here, I'm in F. You can see that it's highlighted a little bit darker, F8. But if you look in here, this is called the name box, and it indicates that you are actively current in cell F8. Immediately to the right of the name box is the function box, and then over on the further right is the formula bar. We actually put in formulas. There is a shortcut button if you are looking for assistance in Excel, and that's the F1 key. That's your help key. You also have the search box here, and some Microsoft applications, Excel, have the tell me box where you would type in or use the table of contents to answer, tell me what you want to do. So there's a tell me what you want to do, there's just the search option, and you can see that it's also Control Q or Alt Q. So if you did Alt Q, you would get the search and you could look for whatever you wanted to ask a question on. So I'm just going to click the insert just to briefly go over. We won't cover every single item under every single tab. If you're very interested in learning more about Excel, there is a separate 3-credit course that goes in more depth with Excel. So we will probably look at illustrations that you can put as the background or a picture or image right on your spreadsheet to make it more official looking. We will definitely work with recommended charts, and we'll work with spark lines. Draw, we will not be using draw in this particular Excel spreadsheets. The page layout, we'll talk about themes, colors, and fonts, and margins. We'll definitely work with margins. And the orientation, do you want it portrait or landscape? And the print areas, and we'll talk about the grid lines and headings under sheet options. Formulas, this is the power of spreadsheets, is formulas. And we will spend a lot of time working with the different types of formulas. You will see auto sum. There's so many different ways to activate the auto sum, and the options that we use are very powerful and already predetermined formulas: sum, average, count, numbers, max, and min. We have recently used formulas that you've used. They can pop up real quick for you. We'll work a little bit with the financial and logical. We'll introduce the date and time, lookup and reference. There's so many statistical, there's so many functions available. It's amazing, but we'll try to touch a little bit just so you have an idea of what's available in Excel itself. So that was formulas. In the data, we'll do a little bit with the sorting and show you how to filter in the data. Review, everyone needs to know this, have the spelling and thesaurus. View, how you want it to show on your screen, just to preview it. And there's the help here as well. So we'll go back to the default setting, which is the home. In the quick access toolbar, I just wanted to share with you again, if you wanted to put the print preview on, you could click it here by selecting it. Right now what's automatically showing is the auto save, the save, which is the floppy disk, undo and redo, but I want to add print preview and print. So it's a little piece of paper with a picture of a print, and then I just want to show you the quick print. Looks like an actual printer of the image, and then I'll also put in the spelling. So the difference, so this would start a spell check in your particular document or spreadsheet. The difference between these two is this one would take you to the backstage area to see what it looks like before you print. There's nothing typed, so nothing showing up. This one would send it right to the printer, so you don't even get to look at it. And this one, yes, it's quick, but what happens if one cell prints on a separate paper? You would have liked to have seen it before you sent it to the printer. So I'm going to remove that one, so I'll go back here and uncheck Quick Print. So this is working with Excel, and I just want to take you for a moment. I do not have a MacBook, but I just wanted to share with you, if you are using a MacBook, I'm going to just go into, it's a Microsoft Bing, how to find numbers on a MacBook. And when I'm scrolling down, I'm looking, because MacBook is an Apple product, I'm looking for the URL that has supportapple.com, so I'll go right into that. And then you have where you look up add data to a table, create a chart. So there's different suggested categories, or you could go right into the table of contents and choose let's welcome or number basics and see what that does. Intro to numbers, create a spreadsheet. And it just breaks it down so that you'll see there's some similarities in the spreadsheet. You'll open it up and it'll have the same little cells and boxes, just like Microsoft Excel. So this will help you out if you're using numbers on a MacBook. And the other was, if you're using Google, you would go to your Google Apps option, and this is the 9 little circles, looks like a Rubik's Cube, and then you would choose from your selection here, you would choose Sheets. So you just scroll down and then you'll see Sheets, and you go ahead and open that. I just have to sign in. I would choose a blank spreadsheet. And you'll notice there's a lot of similarities. You have your columns labeled A, B, C, and the rows. So if I click over here, now I'm in B8, D3, so I still have the name box and the formula bar. What changes is there are tabs, just like in Microsoft Excel, but the ribbon's slightly different. So if you wanted to go into maybe format, and you'll see the text. Do you want it bold, italic, or underline? How about the font, if you wanted to change the font type, and alignment? So you just have to search for different things. There's your spelling, it's under tools. Insert, if you want to add more rows and columns. There, cut, copy, and paste is in edit. So you just have to look for it. So if I wanted to type, just like we did before, fruit sales 2023, and then enter, and then I press enter, and I take last name, tab, first name. So it's very similar to Microsoft Excel. In here you also have the ribbon where you can actually see more, we click the 3 dots here for more options. But you have your undo and redo if you wanted to send it right to the printer. There's your numbering group if you want to see the $sign. You also have the font types here under the default, and then this increases it and decreases the font size, and your bold and italic, change the color of it, some alignment options. So you'll see that in your ribbon as well as in your tabs. Right now it's not does not have a title in Excel, Microsoft Excel.